Hello everyone. So today I finally updated my site, basically my site that I was working on, my company's website, Sparxsys.com. So this site is now up and running, and the site was of course up and running even before, but I was doing some work updating it with the new services, or basically a bit of revamp that I was working on since last week. So I basically did all that, and the site is now up and running with these new changes. And today I thought I will talk a bit about how I used Drupal to make a company website, in case you want to do something similar, in case you have similar plans and you might be thinking of using Drupal, because Drupal is really good when it comes to organizing your content. When you have so many things that are interlinked, interconnected, then you want something like Drupal. And Drupal is great because with the help of Drupal's site building capabilities, you can actually do these things quite easily, even without writing any custom module or doing any coding whatsoever. And I thought I'll probably share few things with you today. The main thing that I wanted to show you today was the overall architecture of the site, and I hope this will also help you in doing something similar. So let us start with the home page. And first of all, this site is running on Drupal 9.3.0, which I upgraded last week, and I had some trouble, but I was managed to upgrade. And the home page is even before I talk about the home page, the theme that I'm using right now is Bootstrap. And when you use Bootstrap in Drupal, you will have to create a subtheme to use it. So this is like a Bootstrap's subtheme. And the good thing about Bootstrap is that Bootstrap is a popular theme that is available for anyone to use. I mean, you don't really need to use Drupal to use Bootstrap. I mean, you can basically download Bootstrap template and you can use it. And if you're trying to build a company website, then I think doing everything from scratch can work, but it will take, of course, a lot of time, and you will have to spend countless hours making it work for you. But using Bootstrap, you just need to specify the right tag, or I should say the right class or ID for your HTML elements, and it will work. Good thing about Bootstrap is that it is, of course, responsive, and if I try to maybe change the width of the site will adjust perfectly, and you don't have to worry about doing these things. This will work out of the box. And of course, you have to configure a few things. I'll probably make a separate video on how to configure Bootstrap. And to be honest, it is not really a lot. Now, talking about how I organize the home page. So on the home page, on top, I'm using a view, which is basically displaying these two big images, which is nothing but it could be a blog, or it could be maybe any content that I want to display on the home page. Basically, the idea here is that I want people to notice something for sure. So that is why I mean, anything that I want people to notice, I will probably promote it to the home page. And if you look at the of course, I can click on it and it will take me to the actual blog where I can see the content. The image is right now missing from here because I have not displayed the image on the content, which I will. I mean, I'm still working on it. On top, you can also see this breadcrumb, which is, I think, great when you have to enable some, or when you have to basically show the navigation. So this is something that I enabled in my Bootstrap theme. You can also do that very easily. Now, talking about this particular section here, this section is nothing but a block which is displayed, and this block is using some images and a few items, and this is again nothing but a view of all the services. So basically, I have this services. Basically, this is nothing but a page where I'm using all the taxonomies. So I am using taxonomy to create different services, and I wanted to use taxonomy because when you create a new project or when you create a new blog post, you have the option to link your taxonomy to your content using a field. So if you look at the taxonomy, or I should say the vocabulary. The vocabulary is services, and if I click on the list terms, it will list all the services. For example, I want to present all the Atlassian consultancy services separately under this parent, and then my Drupal consultancy services, and few other things. So if you look at this particular view, this view is nothing but a view of taxonomy. And the main thing that I'm doing here is on top, I'm using a view header. So this is something great about view, where you have the option to display the content coming from somewhere. It could be taxonomy, it could be content, but you also have the option to display this header. And this header contains this particular text here. And thing about if you look at the actual content here, when someone is looking at the services page, you will find on the left hand side there is a text, on the right hand side there is an image. So this is something that I could have just done it manually. You can create two divs, and you can do div float and few other things in the CSS. But this is something great about your Bootstrap theme. It will give you these elements. For example, if you look at the home page, this block, about us block, or what we do block, is also using this custom HTML, where I'm just passing in the class name. So the class name is basically this column, col-sm-6. And if you want to learn about these things, you can actually search on the Bootstrap theme page. So basically Bootstrap has this great system where you can learn about how it works. And again, I don't have to write any custom CSS for doing these things. For example, if you want to display these three columns right next to each other, you can create a table. But why should you create? Creating a table is not really a good idea. You ideally need to create divs and align them using float left and display clear. There are a few things that you have to do. Nothing complicated, but if you can do it by simply using this class name, why not? And it comes with, these classes, predefined classes, comes with Bootstrap. So do take a look at this page, Bootstrap grid system. And the way Bootstrap grid system works, it has basically 12, it will give you 12 columns. And based on the number that you specify here, for example, if you want to display 2 columns, you have to specify a number that will divide 12 by, you have to specify the number that you can divide by 12, and you will get 2 or 4. So for getting 2 columns, you have to divide it by 6. So basically the first column will consume 6. First 6 columns will be this will be covered by this image. The next 6 columns will be covered by this text. So if you use 6, you will get 2 columns. If you use 3, you will get 4 columns. If you use 4, you will get 3 columns, so on. So basically, it's it should be divisible by 12. So you can do your basic math. And talking about how I have created the individual pages for these services. So basically, if you click on this taxonomy, it is a view, which is of course showing all the services in our list form. But if I click on Atlassian Consultancy, it will take me to the taxonomy page. That is it. So it's a taxonomy term page where I'm also displaying on the right hand side in the sidebar the children of this particular parent, and you can actually do it using, again, contextual filters. And for example, I'm still working on it, but while someone is looking at Atlassian Consultancy, they can look at all the sub-services within Atlassian Consultancy. And if I click on Advanced Roadmaps, I'm now taking a look at the Advanced Roadmap, which is like one of the service within Atlassian Consultancy. But if I want, I can go back to the main service, which is Atlassian Consultancy. Basically that is the advantage of using a breadcrumb. I don't need to go to the menu again. I can just click on it and go back. So this is something that I thought I'll probably share with you today, because in case you are trying to use Drupal, a good thing about Drupal is that not only you can organize content using taxonomy. Treat taxonomy as like a way to define your categories. But when you define these taxonomies, you have the option to create a field that can let the users select those taxonomy terms. For example, if I create one of the project, because I want to showcase my projects. So if I click on, let us say, this particular content type, which is a project, I will be able to see here this, basically, these fields that will let me select those taxonomy terms. So basically, to associate your taxonomy with your content type, you have to basically create a field. So you can actually create a field here of type, taxonomy term, and that is it. And then you have to configure it. There is also one more thing that I wanted to show you, and that is using meta tags. So if you're using meta tags, I think you should use meta tags not only for search engine optimization, but whenever you share your content on LinkedIn or Twitter, you will notice that Twitter and LinkedIn and Facebook, for example, or most of the social media platforms, they will pick up the images automatically from your content. So let me show you what I mean. So if you go to meta tags, and I'm just trying to show you very quickly, but don't worry, we'll probably do like a deep dive on how to configure. So if you look at these meta tags for each and every type of content, or for majority of content, for example, for my globally for my website, I have some tags enabled. For example, if I go to my homepage and if I do a Control U, I will notice on top the these tags, which is great. But at the same time, I also want tags for my front page. I also want tags for my content, which is it could be a blog, it could be my taxonomy page, and I also have this this configured for my taxonomy as well. You can do it separately. So if I open one of my, let us say one of my blog, like Sparxsys website revamped, and if I do a Control U, you will notice that not only you will find the description, which is nothing but my summary and trimmed summary, but also the abstract keywords, and for my open graph, I do have these image URLs. So if usually my content, blog or projects, they will have an image, and this image's path is also listed here. And this is actually very useful, because when you share this page somewhere on LinkedIn, let me just show you. I'll not really share it on LinkedIn, but I'll just share it and try to show you the image that will be picked. So if I click on this website revamped, it will basically generate basically pick up the image that I have uploaded here for this particular page. The same is applicable for my services. So if I click on, let us say, Atlassian roadmaps, and if I copy it, by the way, let me show you the source code. So if I do a Control U for my taxonomy term page, I do have images for Twitter and also for Open Graph, and this is something that will be used by social media networking sites, so that they can actually know from where to pick up the URL. You can actually tell these sites to pick up this image URL from this particular field. And when you configure these things in Drupal, you have the option to use, for example, if you look at the content, when you look at the abstract or keyword, or maybe the path of the image, you have to basically specify the field name. And don't worry about remembering these things, because you will get the option to use replacement tokens. And let me show you very quickly. So if I click on the edit for this particular type of meta tag for a specific content or maybe taxonomy term, you will get on top browse available tokens, and here you will be able to specify using a pop-up the field from where you want to basically pick up the actual path of the image or field value. For example, if you're talking about an image, this will be the image. If you're talking about, let us say, attachment or body, or maybe summary of your body, you will actually find each and everything here that can be actually used for you using tokens. And you don't have to basically worry about remembering the variable names, because Drupal will help you and assist you. And this is how I have been working on this particular site. It is of course not really a complicated site, very simple site, but I thought it could be a good example in case you want to also use Drupal for developing your own company's website. And that is all I wanted to cover in this video. I hope you enjoyed watching this video and you learned something new today. Thank you very much. Bye bye.